All right. Now what we're going to do then is we're going to move on to some fan questions. And today we're going to use a classic Alton Towers mug, circa 1990 something.
Okay.
Um, okay. So the first question is from Kalina. How did you come up with the name Stylosa and obviously Kirioth?
No, this is stupid. Right, so Stylosa is a Latin name for a family of roses, right? Now, I did not know that. Right, I didn't know that. So I think it's Stylosa from something like that. But if you Google it, you can find, and I think in Italian, it very closely resembles their word for stylish. Because I've had a lot of funny incidents on multiplayer games. If I'm like playing on a random Italian server for some reason, I don't know, you will get people trying to talk to me, and I was always like a bit perplexed. What's going on? Went to Google Translate and found out that it means stylish very closely. I was like, okay. But where the names came from was a very drunk. What makes this worse is it was an afternoon, so we were like totally drunk in the afternoon of about like 5 p.m. It was quite bad, and we were trying to come up with names for characters. I think it was for World of Warcraft, you know. Yeah, it was. We were trying to come up with names for characters. And we were just putting on stupid Mexican accents. And we were just making random noises. Honestly, this is the true story. And I was like, Stylosa. And he was like, yeah. And that's where that came from. Although I know Kirioth's name comes from somewhere else. I think that might actually come out of one of the Warhammer books, maybe. Or maybe it's just a slight adaptation of that. But that's where Stylosa comes from.
Stylosa, awesome. Okay, question number 2. This is from Mintake. If game devs came to you and said, we want to make the perfect games for you specifically, what would you tell them?
So, right, my perfect game would be... I used to play a lot of EverQuest and EverQuest 2, and it was very difficult. I would say more so than World of Warcraft by quite a lot, especially EverQuest 1 or EQ Live, whatever you want to call it. I would like a game of that kind of difficulty level, you know, a very unforgiving game. It could be an MMO. I'm not really too bothered with that. Some sort of, it would have to be an RPG, obviously, something like that. But I really like difficult games. I also like competitive games. Oh, this is the problem, because an ideal game for me would be like a one-on-one competitive game. That's an RTS. That's possibly some sort of FPS. That's also an RPG. That's massively difficult. It just would not. It just wouldn't work. I don't know. But I don't know. I think yeah, I would like something really difficult like that. I think like if we talk about MMOs, I really would like an MMO like, you know, as I say, the old school EverQuest, where it was like nobody knew anything. You know, you were just there and you had to try and work things out in the world. You couldn't go to Wowhead or whatever and just pull up information or go to some wiki, you know, and find stuff out. You really had to live in that world and sort of become part of it. And I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again, because it's just not attractive enough to the bulk of the audience. Now, who the hell wants to sit there for 3 days trying to get half a level, you know, when in World of Warcraft in 3 days you could probably hit max level, you know? It's so I don't know. I think.
I mean, going on EverQuest, did you? Because I know recently they had the jump back in and play your old players something. Did you actually go back and try and play it again?
I haven't tried EverQuest 1 for a hell of a long time. I did for EverQuest 2, but when I played the game, it was not free to play at all. It is now. And it was kind of funny because they do a nice thing in EverQuest, in EQ2, where if you looted an item first in the world, you know, before anybody else, it always says on the item first discovered by. So my old character, I had 2 old characters. They were raid tanks. They've got a lot of world first items on, so he's like this pimped out tank, right? I logged him in, and he had no armor on because I have not paid for the pack to access that level of gear, and I was disgusted. He was like naked, yet in his bags he's got all this gear, which was like amazing 4 years ago. You know, obviously no good now. But I was just like, oh no, this is not good. But yeah, that game does not age very well. And one of like the kind of one of my biggest regrets sometimes when I think about it is not really playing WoW more. Like, I think I should have possibly played that more instead of putting a lot of effort into EQ2. It was at the time because I moved from EQ1 to EQ2. Because a lot of my friends did play WoW, and I was just like this elite. It's like, you little scumbag, you should be playing EverQuest. It's so hard. You want to play. God, what was she? Shell Drac, one of the this. It was like a turtle dragon, and he'd spawn ads in each corner of the room. You're in this really tight room. He had a massive AoE, but we'll get onto that in a minute. He'd spawn ads in each corner of the room, a group of 3, and they'd be like a warrior, a mage, or whatever the subclasses will be. So like a scout, a fighter, or whatever. Yep. Only the corresponding classes in the raid could do damage to them, so you had to quickly identify them and kill them. But the dragon itself had like a stomp AoE and like a big magic AoE. Problem with EverQuest is, though, the graphics engine was so bad, nobody could actually see the AoE. You could not render it because you would crash. So everybody's playing on the lowest graphics. So what do you do? You've got somebody there with a stopwatch, right, trying to time the first one that hits. So the raid goes in, takes the first one, times it. When the second one hits, stops the watch, looks at it, 30-second timer, and then you've got this guy in Skype just timing, going, AoE about to hit AoE, and everybody's running back. And to me, that was like amazing. It was like, oh my God. But obviously sounds stupid, doesn't it? Because it's like the game wasn't working right, but it was amazing though. But I do think maybe I should have played WoW instead, because not many people are very familiar with EverQuest 2. A lot of people are familiar with WoW, and it kind of, I don't know, would have been interesting to see what would have happened to me if I did play that more than EQ2.
Fair enough. So that was a nice sidetrack to that, but okay. So this is from Dimitri. Do your loved ones follow you or what you do on YouTube? And if so, what do they say about it?
You know what? They don't actually. They know what I do, but I don't think they fully understand it, to be honest. Like they understand it's. Well, I mean, do I even fully understand it? The thing is with it, I think my family are kind of old school in that regard. They would have preferred me if to gone into some sort of, career path, which would have ended up with, me having a steady income, and blah, 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 and all the rest of it, instead of this very fragile thing I'm doing. But I mean, I actually had an interesting conversation with my granddad about this. He was I don't know what his title was, but he was like a weapons electrician in the Navy, on the old HMS Ark Royal, the really big aircraft carrier. So, he's involved with making sure the bombs and stuff are working, all the rest of that stuff. He could not understand, after I kept trying to explain to him what I was doing, how this is even a thing. And his main question was, has anybody done this before? And I was like, no. I said, no, I don't think anybody, I mean, let's not kid. There are people who've made a lot of money off YouTube, or you just look at PewDiePie and people like that. But they're like people who've won the lottery kind of thing. I like to look at this like it's a career thing. Nobody's ever had this as a career before. So I can't say, oh yeah, this is a career. Might not be, but he could not get that into his head, and he's like, yeah, so right. Like, I don't know. So they do watch me though. I know I've got 2 sisters. They both watch me every now and again. They'll send me stupid emails saying, why have you just recorded your face and you haven't bothered doing your hair, which you notice I have done today? That looks terrible. Sort yourself out. And I'm like, sorry. But yeah, I don't think they religiously watch everything I do, but they know what I do, kind of. They don't understand it, and they want me to get a real job.
Fair enough.
Or at least my granddad does.
This is from Baron TV1. What games have you played in the last 1 to 2 years that have disappointed you? And the reasons why.
Aliens, Colonial Marines.
That's horrible.
That was horrible, right? I should have known this game would be horrible, but I was stupid, and I just thought, I love Aliens, so I'm just going to buy it. I bought 2 copies, pre-order it was on as well, for me and Kiri. Horrendous. I mean, the previous game, I think it was just called AVP, I think they called it. That was terrible. Again, I bought 2 copies of that. In fact, no, I bought 1 copy of that, and Kiri bought himself a copy, which he actually, I remember being around his house, and we were like, this is so bad, and he threw it at the wall, and it just smashed on the wall. It was like, what the hell? Smashed the DVD. I don't want to play this anymore. Yeah, that was a major disappointment, that was, but I should have known it was a disappointment.
See, now I think the issue with that one was, because I played that before it came out, and it was actually really decent, but they changed from the copies there to the one that actually came out. It's like,
well, Gearbox should be held accountable for that, because what they did is basically falsely advertise their product. So they built a test environment for the game, which you can see videos of this on YouTube where it looks like there's dynamic shadows, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it looks really, really good. And then the actual launch game had none of that in, which is terrible. They've wasted effort putting this together to con people because they know that's what people are going to see. Looks amazing. Game comes out and it's terrible. I don't think they should be allowed to do that.
No.
And I think that's kind of a loophole at the moment with games. And also, it really pisses me off when games launch and they don't work. Like Battlefield 4 recently. I think it's X something Rebirth came out the other day. Spaceship simulator flight game thing. That's got horrendous performance problems. And I understand these companies have got deadlines to meet and they need to make money back, to cover the cost of development and stuff. But having people buy products that are not finished or, are broken, I hate that. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
I mean, like Watch Dogs, that's been delayed.
Yeah.
But, obviously until spring. And I was thinking, well, if that's not polished and finished, then I'm almost glad it's been delayed.
Well, I think some things are going on with Watch Dogs. I think what they're doing is they want their own launch slot. They don't want to launch now with Call of Duty and the rest of the games that are coming out, because I don't think they'll sell as much. I think that's what they've done there. They've probably weighed up how the damages it's going to, the financial damage of the advertising. Because they did do a lot of advertising, didn't they, leading up to this?
Yeah,
loads of trailers, loads of stuff coming out, and everybody's following it. I was speaking to Ubisoft, like, give me the game. They're like, yes, we'll give you the game. I'm like, yes. And actually, funnily enough, the guy who I was talking to sent me an email asking me to, what platforms you want this on, like 3 days before they announced they're pushing it back. So that shows they didn't really know what was going on, did they? It's like, what? I don't know. Crazy. But, I don't know. I mean, so Aliens Colonial Marines was a horrendous letdown.
Okay. Slightly easy one. It's Gigi QWERTY. What's your favourite Transformer? And why?
It's got to be Optimus Prime. I mean, what the hell? No, oh God, no. Oh God, what's his name? Is it Hot Rod? I think it's Hot Rod.
Hot Rod.
Yeah, you got the touch. Where he's got that was an amazing film.
Where he it's the original Transformers, yeah.
The original.
He turns into Rodimus Prime, doesn't he?
Something like that, because he gets the crystal of
what's it called? No, the mate.
It is. It's just like the Matrix.
Something.
Yeah, because it's in Optimus Prime's chest. Because Optimus Prime dies at the start of that film. That's how good it is. Because I remember being a kid and like seeing the cartoons, and then it was a few years later when I seen the film, and Optimus Prime was dead. It was like, oh my God! But the way he dies was quite graphic. He's having a fight with
Megatron.
Megatron blows him away.
Because he dies as well, doesn't he?
But he comes back, don't he? What's he come back as?
Galvatron.
Galvatron. What's the planet called? Oh shit! Unicron.
Unicron. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, people might think, what the hell are you talking about? But Unicron is this planet-eating transformer. He is the size of a planet. He's solid, and he just goes around the galaxy eating planets. And he eats Cybertron, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He eats Cybertron. He's that solid. But the only thing that can kill him is that Matrix thing inside Optimus Prime. This is like massive spoilers for the film. And Optimus Prime gets shot in the chest and obviously starts to die. And then you go through the film, and Hot Rod gets it, sticks it. Well, I think he puts it in his chest, doesn't he? But he opens it up inside Unicron and blows him up. But that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. So I don't know. It'd probably have to be Optimus Prime. Although, to be honest, the ultimate power of Unicron is undeniable. So you can eat planets.
You're being touched by the power of the dark side here.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay. This is from next one's from Mintake. If there was a movie made of your life, who would be the best choice to play you?
Well, my name is actually Tom. Okay, and my mom tells me that this is because she liked Tom Cruise when she was a kid. I do not like Tom Cruise, but for her sake, he can play me. Although I think he's a little bit too small to play me, but he can.
That was a nice and easy one. Tom Cruise is Stylosa.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one's from Matt Swift. When did you and Kirioth decide to make this your primary job, and how tough was it to make that call?
Very tough, because Unit Lost had no subscribers, had nothing. At the time, like I said, we stopped the website business and stuff, and we had money left over, so we knew we could do something, but we knew it wouldn't last forever. So we had to, what are we going to do? When we decided on YouTube, we spent a lot of time trying to learn how to actually do it. Types of videos people would actually watch and all that stuff. Even like how to talk on a microphone. How to come across, all this stuff you have to teach yourself. And I think this is kind of funny, but as a result of all the football I used to play, I had a prolapse disc in the bottom of my spine.
Right.
And I had to go to hospital and have this operated on. And I can remember being like driving. I think my old man was driving me there, which is my dad for anybody in the US. He was driving me there. And I was looking on my phone, and I was looking at the YouTube channel at the time. This is like, oh man, this was like would have been just at the end of 2000. No, it would have. Oh, I'm getting mixed up with my dates. It was probably like September 2011 time, I think, somewhere around that. And it had like about, I don't know, 100 subscribers on the channel. I'm looking at it like, this could be something. Maybe this is something. And I am one for a bit of a gambler. And that was kind of, I think I got it into my head, like, if the operation's all right on my back and whatnot, then, yeah, I'm going to give this a go. Because whatever, now is the best time for me to try and do that. And Kiri, he was on board. He was like, yeah, let's do it. We're young enough. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. And that's kind of what it is. But like I said earlier, don't ever go out and think, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. You don't want to do that. If you've got a job, that's fine. Do a YouTube channel as a hobby. That's also fine. But going out, just say to yourself, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. It's basically a death sentence. It really is, because, I guess I can be open about this because I'm not part of Machinima anymore, but it was like horrendous. You'd work for, even now I work for like 12 hours plus a day easily.
Yeah.
And more. It's very hard to come away from it. You really have to be invested in it to do it. But back way then, when I had absolutely no subscribers and hardly any viewers, you're not making anything per month. You're making maybe $30 at the end of the month. It's like, what the hell? I've put all this effort in. But you kind of, like, for me, I had to kind of look past that and think, okay, well, we'll get bigger. And like I said, I had the financial buffer of like, I've got a bit of money in savings, so it'll be okay. But yeah, I think, like even now, if, I guess, I don't know. That for me, like, I think that was probably around a time when I thought, let's go ahead and let's do it. Like I said, Kiri was on board as well, but it still is a gamble even to this day, as I say, because you don't really know where YouTube's going and how things are going to change. So it still is a bit dodgy.
Yeah. We saw the Oculus Rift become a big hit on Kickstarter. Will this be just a gimmick, or do you think that this will move on and companies will follow with their own VR technology?
I think I've seen stuff. I think Oculus Rift, John Carmack have basically come out and said this ain't going to work on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. They're not powerful enough. Will they have their own versions of it? I think they probably will. Some sort of limited form of it. I think I've actually seen some sort of PlayStation 4.
Yeah, they were looking at it.
For one.
It was just ridiculously expensive. I think they were looking at several £1,000 or something. Stupid.
But if you think about it, when Kinect came out, everybody was laughing at that for the Xbox, and that's kind of like, when it came out for the 360, I think that's kind of what the VR headsets will be for these consoles in a few years' time. I think they'll come out. I don't think they'll be as good as Oculus Rift. Like you said, people have got issues with motion sickness. Yeah. I've not actually used one, so I don't know if I'll be affected by it. I kind of think I won't, because I'm totally fine watching 3D films, like at the cinema. They don't cause me any motion sickness, so maybe they won't, it won't affect me. But I do think it is very interesting, and like we said earlier, it's something I would like to see.
Yeah.
Where it is in a few years' time.
Yeah, I reckon it. We'll hope. Well, hopefully it'll kick off, because that would be pretty cool. It will lead the way to a holodeck eventually, I reckon.
Yeah. In fact,
awesome.
I remember. You see, there was a thing on Gadget Show. They had a. I think the game was Battlefield 3, but the game doesn't matter. They had a Oculus Rift headset. I think they had a. No, they didn't. They had like a big projector, but I guess they would have had a headset if they could have had it. And there's a thing a company sells, which is like a multi-directional treadmill.
Oh,
so you can
was
walk.
That the one with the paintball guns?
I think it was, where he was taking. Yeah, because when he got shot, you could feel the impact.
Yeah.
That that kind of stuff is like, I mean, I know there is a vest you can actually buy, like a USB vest, which does give you force feedback of your body when you're getting shot. I think actually that might have been on Kickstarter as well, or a newer version of that was. I don't know how, like, I can't see, like, I mean, can you even see this? Like somebody going into a room in their house, like their study or whatever, they've got the computer, like the room I'm sitting in here, but I'm putting like body armor on, I'm putting like a thing on my face, and I'm running around with a gun. It's like, I can't see that happening.
It's not going to work.
No, it isn't going to work. I don't think that's very like, I don't think that it's very gimmicky. But an actual holodeck, the way it works on Star Trek, where it's like, for some reason, infinite space. You know, as they're moving around the little holodeck, but really they're in Paris or somewhere. If that did happen, that would be absolutely amazing. But I think we're probably about 400 years away from that.
Yeah. One day.
One day. Hopefully I'm still alive to see it as well.
That's it. I mean, then we can all become Will Riker. You know, what happens on the holodeck.
No, Picard. Mind you,
not...
doesn't really go, does he, Picard?
No.
To the
have you not seen the Will Riker t-shirt? What happens on the holodeck stays on the holodeck.
No, I've not seen that.
I'll send you a picture of it.
Hang on, I can remember. Oh God, didn't he have like a really old episode of Next Generation where he's got like a girlfriend in the holodeck? Picard comes in and she's like some sort of, what is she? Some sort of spy or something? I don't know.
Something
Stupid.
ridiculous. All right. Then we've got a question by Murray. What do you think is the most annoying feature, mechanic, gimmick that games keep on having, which probably should have been removed by now?
Well, regenerating health in games is terrible. Blood on the screen is also terrible as well. You know, like you get shot in a game, like any FPS game, I suppose, apart from Counter-Strike. Although I think that does indicate where you're getting hit from. But when all the blood goes over the screen, I also hate lens flares as well. Because if I'm not mistaken, my eyes are not panes of glass. They don't have panes of glass. Well, maybe they do if I've got my glasses on. But the person on the screen that you're playing, he should not be getting blasted by lens flares unless he's got goggles on. I don't like hand holding in games as well. Like I played Batman Arkham Origins recently, which was quite bad. But even this applies to the other Batman games where you've got the detective vision mode. You can just see through the wall and you can see where all the enemies are. If you get stuck, press this button and it'll light a path to the way. I don't like that. I really don't like that. I was actually having quite a good discussion with somebody about the Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
RPGs. Like, for me, Morrowind is the best one. And the reason for that is because it doesn't... You start the game, you make your character, you get off the boat. That's it. What the hell do I do? You literally stand there and you are like, what the hell do I do? You may talk to somebody. They don't give you a quest. They may have given you a quest. They might not have given you a quest. You have to read what they say. And they might give you directions and they might say, if you walk a certain amount of distance and get to a signpost and take a left and then take a right and then go into this cave and then say this specific word to somebody, they may give you a quest then.
Yeah.
Then Oblivion came out and it was all this fast travel. It was all this, that's quest marker, quest that way. And it was hard for me to adapt to that. And I was like, I don't really like this. And then Skyrim took that a little bit further, although I did really enjoy Skyrim, but I think like it wasn't really difficult. So like the hand holding thing, I really hate that in games. I really, really hate that. And I don't like the way it sort of becomes, or it kind of is becoming commonplace, because I think like there's this transition from games becoming something that needs to be beaten to something that just needs to be experienced. And for me, I don't just want to sit there and beat a game because I've just bought the game. I want some sort, like Dark Souls is a good example of this. You know, yeah, you can go and buy Dark Souls, but you'll just die endlessly at the start, and then you're like, what the hell do I do? You know?
Yeah.
But when you eventually get past that, it's really, really good. And I think more games should come out like that. Less of this focus on holding people through like the theme park experience of the game to get to the end and say, you've done it, congratulations. I'm not really a fan of that as a mechanic. In fact, that's probably my biggest hate with games. I like that.
If you look at like the Fallout games, for instance, 3 in New Vegas, they've got that sort of follow the little path and follow the little dot. Whereas if you play 1 and 2, it's just like your quest is in this town. Have fun finding it, and that's
Morrowind is exactly the same as that, but it's obviously just 3D. Yeah, it's just the same.
It's just so much. Yeah, it's so much better. Just trying to go out and going, okay, how do I do this? And it's a lot more, you get a lot more of achievement, don't you?
Yeah, well, I
When
think
you,
it's just this thing of like instant gratification. Like people just want to go in and just win. Like I mean, use WoW as an example. Don't they keep lowering the barrier of entry to raid content?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, hang on. When I played EverQuest, there was only me, like our guild, like maybe 3 or 4 guilds on the server, probably 20 guilds worldwide who even could go into this zone,
Mm.
which you could say from a developer's point of view is a bit stupid. Why they spent all this effort making this zone that only like possibly like 500 people are ever going to see, when there's like hundreds of thousands of people playing the game. But like, I don't know. I think it's a very hard balance for a developer to actually make, where you've got this, keep the difficulty level, but also give everybody access to it. It doesn't really work. Yeah, but I hate that. Like I said, like we talked about my, ideal game, it would be a massively difficult game.
Yeah.
That the internet isn't flooded with information on how to do everything, because I hate that as well. Ooh.
It ruins games sometimes, I get.
It does,
You're just like, how do you do this? And then it gets to the point where you're like, internet.
Yeah.
But,
So a game like recently I was looking forward to, XCOM Enemy Within. I purposely looked at no information on this. I know Total Biscuit had a video out a couple of months ago. I think he had like an early preview of it. I was like, no, I'm not watching this, because I just wanted to go in completely blind and just go in like, and experience the game for myself. Because I think one of the issues, well, for me anyway, is you tend to know quite a lot about games and you don't really get surprised anymore. And it's nice just to go in blind, and yeah, it's quite enjoyable, the game was. So
I have to say, I haven't played the expansion. I played the original and got so annoyed with all the bugs and shooting through the walls and.
Well, it's a bit iffy. I mean, I think the expansion just adds a couple of new features into the game, which make it more of a rounded thing. Still is the same game. It's not like a radically different, campaign. It starts off the same. But yeah, the debate on XCOM could just go for ages and ages, because you get people who like the original XCOM and this is not really the same, and all that crap.
Okay. Okay. So I guess we'll just do a real quick mop up of some of the other questions, which I got. So one from Sir Milk. Do you like milk?
Well, no, I do, but if I drink milk, I have a quite bad reaction to it, so I don't have milk. Although I've been known to be tempted by things like ice cream and milkshakes and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't. No.
You don't like milk. Okay.
Well, no, I do like milk, but I can't eat it. It's like temptation.
Okay, then we've got Sticker 704. Why is Sticker such a fucking champ?
Well, obviously he is. Yeah. He's a man of means, and congratulations to him.
And we got Wilhelm Lovin. What's so special about Gorman in
Wilhelm Lovin?
Wilhelm Lovin.
Wilhelm. What?
We need to do a silly accent now, I guess. What is so special about Gorman in Aliens Colonial Marines?
Gorman. Right, so no, I can't. This is Gorman. So I said Aliens Colonial Marines was a big let down for me. We did a live stream of the game when it came out, and It was so bad, so bad. But me and Kiri were playing it co-op, and we were just completely laughing at the game, intentionally breaking aspects of the game, just taking the piss out of the game because it was so bad. And then, because it was really easy. Like, the aliens have got no AI. They just walk up to you like, oh, yes, we're the most deadly killing machine in the galaxy, so we're just going to walk up to you and let you shoot us dead. Then on the table, in the distance, we've seen this glowing object, and it was a pistol, and it was Gorman's gun. Now, Gorman, I think he's called Lieutenant Gorman from the Aliens film. He's like the guy who drives the APC, and he panics. He's like the leader of the Marines, but he's like crap. He's like a bit of a noob and all this. Yeah. But we found his gun. So then we just decided that we will just use Gorman's gun for the rest of the game. And we were going around with a pistol, shooting like the biggest aliens ever and just killing them. It was stupid. And the stream chat started to go a bit weird. Like, they were trying to come up with names for Gorman. Like, replacing... Like, the pistols had names. So mine was called Flash Gorman. And Kiri's was called Gorman Freeman. It's like really stupid. And like then they were adding the Gorman thing into film titles. So like Gone with the Gorman. I don't know. Saving Private Gorman. Who knows? That's where that came from. It's very random and weird.
Okay, this next one's from Amarelli, which is saying, "Is it true you secretly dress in women's clothing?"
Yes.
Um,
What?
Then the final one is from Alex Smith, saying, "Ask Stylosa when he's going to come clean about his season ticket at Britannia Stadium."
Never. That's because he knows that I play for Port. Now, people don't know what the hell this is about, but Port Vale is a team in Stoke, and so is Stoke City, obviously. They play at the Britannia. Now, people who've played for Port Vale, who are fans of Port Vale, do not like Stoke. They are the enemy. So, no, I do not have a season ticket for Stoke. No. Eddie, no.
Fair enough. Okay, so that finishes off the interview. I'd just like to say thank you very much, Mr. Stylosa.
No worries,
for
no
coming
worries.
on. And just let us know where we can find you. It's Unit Lost Tube on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've got a funny story about that as well. So,
Okay, go on, why not? Finish it off.
Right, okay, so I actually there is a punk band in Sweden called Unit Lost. Okay, so I went to YouTube and I wanted, youtube.com/Unit Lost. Could not have it because this is a punk band, and I'm like, okay, what should I do? In some sort of, maybe I was drunk, I don't know. I actually made youtube.com/Unit Lost Gaming, which makes perfect sense. But then forgot I did that. So then went to register it again. I'm like, oh God, somebody's made this. What the hell? It was me. But I didn't realise. So I'm like, what do I do? So then I'm like, I'll just put tube on the end. So Unit Lost Tube, that's where it came from. Quite terrible. But yeah, you can find us youtube.com/Unit Lost Tube. You also need to follow me on Twitter, which is @Unit Lost Gaming, and on Facebook /Unit Lost Gaming. You can see where the Unit Lost Gaming thing is coming from. Now, such a travesty that it's not the YouTube URL. And you can find us on Google fucking Plus as well.
Oh,
yes.
Yay.
I don't know what the URL for that is though, because it's a load of numbers.
And you've also got your Twitch channel that you regularly
Oh yes, and
stream
Twitch
on.
as well. Yeah, which is twitch.tv/Unit Lost. And yeah, we do a lot of live streams.
Okay, yeah. So all of those links will be in the description below. I'm sure I can
Awesome.
decrypt the Google Plus thing. And
I think
put
it was asking me to change the URL to something, so maybe I will. I don't know. Who uses it? Who even uses Google Plus?
If it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't even have that thing.
I've had messages off people who have been followers of Unit Lost since the very early days, saying they're no longer going to bother watching or commenting on YouTube videos anymore because they can't. I keep kicking my chair. Rage,
You're
anger.
so annoyed about
It
Google
is.
Plus, you're kicking your chair. But anyway, on that rage, thank you again, and
No worries. Thanks.
See you guys next time. Cheers. Bye.
Bye bye.